Yo, what's up guys, Shujinkydink here, and welcome to a video all about fuzzy guarding, playing against a safe character. One of my students the other day was telling me, Dick, my friend does really well against me with Cabal, and he just plays so safe that I don't know what to do. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to make a video about this, and your friend is going to hate me for it. But first I did want to touch on another thing that I felt this didn't really deserve its own video because it's just a real quick thing. I have touched on it in the past, but something called fuzzy guarding. So if you're not aware of what fuzzy guarding is, I'm going to give you an example of how it works. So we are using Cabal's, not that one, 4224 string, which ends in overhead. So in this mean streak variation, he can also do the low attack. The low attack is punishable. So there you got a 50-50 of it, whether he's going to end in overhead or whether he's going to end in a low. Or do you? You can do a fuzzy guard there. So how do we know how exactly a fuzzy guard works or what it is? Well, I'm going to tell you. So basically, fuzzy guard is an option that allows you to block both overhead and low simultaneously by the magic of frame data and your awesome inputs, because you are awesome and I believe in you. So we're going to look at this. So what we're going to do, we're going to look at the last move frame data. So we got forward 2-2. So if we go and look at this forward 2-2, for example, the second 2 tells us the frame data for the second move here. That's how these work if you didn't know. I made a whole video on frame data. I'll maybe put an iCard up there in the corner or something you can click on if you want to watch that in more detail. But yeah, so when you're looking at the move list, because they're like, well, the strings are all different. Because yes, so the frame data for the forward 2 would be for the first hit. The forward 2-2, that frame data you see there is for the second hit of the string, and then this one is for the last hit of the string. Now this is what we're going to focus on, because this is what we're going to use to know how to block this. So forward 2-2-4, the startup on the last hit, the overhead, is 22 frames. So that right there, 22 frames. So if we go into the rolling buzzsaw, which is his low option off of that, the startup on that is 27 frames. So that is slower than our overhead. So theoretically speaking, we have a 5-frame gap to block from overhead to low. So if you do it correctly, not only will you block the overhead, you block high and then low really quickly afterwards. Timing it right. This is going to take some practice just to make sure that you get it right. And then you can successfully block both options. Why it's called a fuzzy guard is that sometimes that your character's animation won't actually show them ducking or show them stand blocking, but you will be simultaneously blocking even though it doesn't look like you are. So that's kind of, I think, where the term came from. I don't know, fuzzy guarding. It's a good tool to use against mix-up characters. So hopefully I explained that. If you have any questions about that, leave them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. And now on to playing against a safe character, like freaking Cabal, for example. Look at this move list, guys, honestly. Like, okay, so find the block advantage. You see the block advantage on there? Now let's go down this together. Not a single double-digit number. Everything -2, -5, -3, -1, -2, -1, -4. -7 is as close as you get to being punishable, which is this string here, which is a stagger, actually. So he can stagger that, or do this one, which I believe he gets a crushing blow. I don't know if that's the whole combo or not. I haven't looked into that. So we go into like what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to punish him if he's like -1 or -2? And this is kind of like a backdoor way to doing this. So basically, you want to take as much frames as you can. You really need to understand his strings, what's plus, what's minus, what is your opponent using more than others, and just familiarize yourself with those strings. So if a move is negative, it's almost always your turn afterwards, especially if you have a fairly quick character. So even -1, I mean, your down 1 would still beat out his if you tried to do like 2, 3, and then down 1 afterwards. Because he's still -1. That takes off the frame data from his next move. So what you want to do is I would establish a poking game first. So if he's doing something -2, -3, just do a couple down 1s afterwards, just to check him, in case he's mashing afterwards. Now, what that's going to do is that's going to encourage him to block after he does these strings. So once he starts blocking, you establish that he needs to start blocking, that's when you want to start going for throws. When you start going for throws, then that's going to give him, you're basically mixing him up on his options off of his safe string. So are you going to do a down one? Because if he tries to do something afterwards, your down one's going to beat him out. If he blocks, you're going to do a throw. So is he going to try and be ready to tech the throw? And then you get the third option of just going right into a string. So this would be something that I would do off of, say, this string here, which is -7, because most strings are a little bit of a slower startup. So I would use those negative frames to knock off the startup of one of my quick strings, preferably something that's like a mix-up or something fairly safe so he can't punish me, because in this case, Cabal, really punish-heavy character. So yeah, just use some sort of a string if it has a mix-up in it, or then you can establish your own stagger game. If you play a character like Jax, for example, which would be excellent for this, Jax could go into his pressure, his staggers, your throws, all sorts of things, and take your turn off the negative frames that he has. So the more negative frames he gives you opens up more options for you. So just because you can't punish the actual string that he's doing doesn't mean that you don't have any options. You just have to be really smart about how you use them. So, like I said, recap. Establish a down one game or short poke game. If you have Garrus, I mean, you're the man. Just freaking poke after everything, man. Outside of that, then yeah, just establish your poke game and kind of force him to block. And once you've kind of established you can force him to block, that's when you really have the advantage on these strings. Because then you can, like I mentioned, the stage is yours. Throw him a lot, you know. And then if you throw him, maybe you catch him away. So that is a really important part of playing against a safe character, is, you know, turning their safeness into your opportunity and making sure that you take it. By the way, one big mistake, I've mentioned this time and time again, people not hit confirming their down ones. If you hit a down one, you are +10. Almost every character across the board is +10 on that. So make sure that you take your plus frames. So if you hit them, go into a mid string or just something that's a little bit, that could do a little bit more damage, or a mix up or something, or just go for a throw. I do that a lot. I'll just do down one. If I see that it hits, bam, throw. That's a free throw for me. And then whatever direction I want to go. It's a safe option most of the time, because throws are 10 frame startup, and then you get a down one off of. I feel like I'm talking really fast, so if I glossed over something that confused you, please comment about it so I can try and clarify it for you. So that is as far as the up close part of it goes, one way to deal with the safeness of a character. Real quick, what I showed you with the the mix-up, obviously his rolling buzzsaw is unsafe, -17. So that would be a example of him doing something unsafe when he really didn't need to. Now, I was just showing you that for example of Fuzzy Guard, but maybe there are Cabal players that do that. So there you go. Maybe you could even interrupt that with a poke. Hit the lab, guys. Training mode, practice mode is your best friend in this game. You know, you're not going to get better unless you practice. And that's a fact. Now we get into part 2 of playing against a safe character. And this, again, we're diving deep into the frame data. Super exciting. Try not to get too hard about this. So now we're going into recovery. Now, recovery frames, as I mentioned again in my frame data video that's in the iCard up in the corner if you want to check it out, is telling you how hard a character, like if they whiff a move, how long it takes them to recover. So you can see, even though Cabal has some really good block advantage, his recovery is quite high. So you look, we got 29, 32, 33, 2 is pretty good at 16, 26, 24, 27, 21, 32, totally reactable. So in this situation, you want to outspace Cabal and make him miss those moves, you know, so that he's doing something out there, and then you can do an extended reach move to punish him from whiffing. So basically what you would do is kind of understand the range of his moves and your walk speed. Your walk speed is very important. This is something a lot of people overlook, but you can walk in and out of the range of an opponent's attack. So let's say you're shimmying him in and out like this. You know, you come a little bit closer just to come in range, and then you know that your walk speed is fast enough that if they do that move, you're going to walk backwards, and then you can whiff punish them afterwards with whatever move you use to whiff punish. And again, with Cabal, he is a very strong character in that aspect as well. He can whiff punish you back, so just be aware of that, you know. And in that little shimmy game, you could also boop, just walk right up close, do a throw, do a string, something like that, you know, as soon as you make him aware of that. So even though, yeah, like I mentioned, he's not really punishable if you block the strings, he can be punishable if he whiffs the strings. at unsafe distances. So that would be another way to play this character. And before you say, oh, but Dink, he can just throw these little things at you all day. He's just so OP. And I would say yes, you know what? Unfortunately, there is no guaranteed way to shut down every option a character has. These are just the best strategies that I have found in my 15 plus years of playing fighting games that seem to work the best in these types of situations. So, unfortunately, yes, he can still throw these little annoying little dealies at you. But, you know, as far as strings go, if you want to play the zoning game, that's a lot better game for you. I mean, most characters have decent projectiles. Bam. Bring it, Cabal. I don't give a fluff. And that's it, guys. Hopefully this can help you play against some people who like to, quote-unquote, play it safe. I am going out of town for some work stuff tomorrow, so there might not be an upload tomorrow. But I will be back on Wednesday evening, probably a little bit later than usual, but we in there like swimwear. So if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like because it really helps me out, and subscribe because I make videos almost every single day. Hashtag Big Dink Energy. We'll see all you guys in the next video.